The concept of timelines refers to the different possible sequences of events that can unfold based on choices, actions, and energetic current. In spiritual and metaphysical teachings, reality is often described as a vast web of branching timelines, each representing a distinct version of existence. Our consciousness navigates through these timelines influenced by creative energy, personal intentions, and universal laws. Timelines are not just theoretical constructs, but energetic realities that hold frequencies, memories, and potential. They function like multidimensional paths, some aligned with truth and freedom, others distorted by fear and fragmentation. Each carries its own story of humanity, shaped by how beings engage with love, choice, and sovereignty. Yet there are forces that seek to interfere with these natural unfolding. Dark forces, whether understood as shadow government, alien overlays, or parasitic energetic networks, exploit the nature of timelines to manipulate reality and control consciousness. By inserting distortion into the flow of time, they fragment human awareness and obstruct organic evolution. These manipulations take many forms: false narratives layered over original history, artificial loops that trap entire generations in unresolved trauma, and engineered futures designed to serve systems of control rather than freedom. This manipulation isn't just conceptual, it's strategic. When dark forces alter timelines, they do so to maintain power, harvest dense emotional energy, and prevent spiritual awakening. By keeping humanity disconnected from higher truths and entrained in fear-based realities, these forces limited access to timelines where authentic remembrance, healing, and liberation resides, creates illusion of inevitability, as though humanity is fated to repeat conflict and collapse, when in truth, higher timelines are always available. Such intervention often intensifies during moments of great potential, when collective consciousness is on the brink of awakening, during planetary alignment or natural energetic gateways, and in periods of social instability when fear can be amplified. These are the thresholds where humanity can leap forward and where shadow interference is most active. When a civilization begins to remember, when people reclaim ancestral memory, awaken their spiritual sovereignty, and dismantle internalized program of oppression, it naturally shifts collective timeline. This remembrance doesn't just emerge intellectually, it repatterns energetic fields, interrupts inherited trauma loops, and reconnects consciousness to original frequencies of unity, wholeness, and peace. But this is precisely when timeline manipulation escalates. Awakening triggers resistance from systems that rely on forgetfulness and fragmentation. In these moments, dark forces often initiate stubborn but powerful strategies. They cloak awakening in confusion by overlaying new false narratives, introduce false light distortion that mimic liberation while sustaining control, and increase pressure on fear-based programming to fracture communities from within. The strategy is to pull the collective back into the known loops, into the pattern timelines of control. Patterns are often the key of understanding this dynamics. A pattern is more than a behavior; it is a living imprint that repeats across generations. When awakening begins, these patterns start to unravel. The unresolved timelines that kept people trapped in war, suppression, or scarcity begin to dissolve. This threatens the entire architecture of shadow matrix, which relies on those very patterns to hold its form. In this light, the battle over timeline is not merely external, it's vibrational, emotional, and deeply spiritual. It's about remembering who we are, what we carry, and what has been stolen or hidden from our collective story. It is about recognizing that reality is not fixed, but responsive to frequency and choice. It is about realizing that while dark forces manipulate timelines to maintain separation, we hold the power to anchor timelines that restore unity. Protecting and reclaiming these timelines begin with awareness. When we recognize the structure of distortion, we stop consenting to it. By anchoring original light, such as Ansoff Aura, and connecting to the original breath of creation, we clear the echoes of unresolved timelines and restore clarity. Presence, prayer, and discernment becomes tools of spiritual sovereignty, helping us navigate towards timelines rooted in peace, truth, and liberation. In summary, timelines are not just living architecture of reality. fluid, responsive, and multidimensional. When we awaken, we shift timelines towards higher resonance, and this naturally threatens forces invested in control. These forces respond by trying to fragment, confuse, and collapse the clarity that awakening brings. But in remembering, in healing, and in choosing love over fear, we reclaim the true timelines, the ones seated in our bones, our memory, our divine inheritance. And as more of us do this, the artificial overlays fall away and real future begins. This is Monica Lassie. Thanks for listening. Peace.